But no, not you. Instead, you just continue to fail. Kubrick is using surrealist techniques in order to show the passage of time. We are watching Dave watch himself live out the rest of his life in this room on this alien planet. You don't bother asking why he's being kept alive. You don't bother asking why the room looks the way it does. You don't even bother to notice that the monolith waits until he is literally on his deathbed before appearing the final time. What is it that the monolith in vertical position has done every other time it has appeared before in this film? What does that tell us about what it is about to do now? Roll it.
So the hell what? He could have been a space fetus or a turkey sandwich, and it would have been just as meaningful or just as meaningless.
Okay, that might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard anybody say. Ever. And I'll bet you worked on it too. What's funnier, turkey sandwich or wizard? I use wizard a lot, so I'm gonna go with turkey sandwich. Yeah, that's clever. Turkey sandwiches don't evolve, Matthew. Turkey sandwiches are not conscious, Matthew. What does evolve and is conscious and has also been the focus of the film as well as the monoliths throughout? Mankind. So what does this imply about the being we see at the end over the earth? Truly great storytelling and filmmaking is always participatory, Matthew, and you are not participating here. I mean, apparently you're hungry or something. I want you to ask yourself honestly, Matthew, which is the more likely of these two scenarios? One, that you are under a gravely deluded ego/ignorance-driven misapprehension regarding the substantive content of the film 2001, or that you have instead, in your efforts as an unappreciated genius, managed to stumble upon a quintessential insight about 2001, inexplicably overlooked by filmmakers, scientists, philosophers, artists, authors, audiences, the Smithsonian Institute, and the American Film Institute, to name just a few, for over 40 years. That insight being that it's boring, nothing happens in it. Phew, okay, now that we're finally done with your whining, narrow, loudmouth, nonsensical, repetitive, arrogant, self-indulgent hissy fit that you have the nerve to call a movie review, we can move on to the fun part, at least for me, because, and I can't believe this myself, you managed to leave your most fallacious non-arguments for last. Alright, welcome to day 2.
I have been sent volumes of material from various websites explaining in detail exactly what this movie means. Here's the problem with all of these guys, and I actually really appreciate everyone sending these in. But first, with the exception of a few common themes here and there, no two websites that I came across had the same argument when it came to what this movie was about, which means that the people who made the websites, with good honest intentions, were just making it up. And as I've said before, if you have to make it up yourself, it means the writers didn't know.
Gosh golly gee willikers, Batman, if only I could think of even one more example besides 2001 of a human artistic endeavor or discipline of thought that lacked a consensus on its meaning, and yet it was the non-consensus that in fact only contributed to human knowledge and by definition endowed it with the very meaning in controversy. I mean, you know, other than the Bible, and the Quran, and the to be or not to be speech from Hamlet, and of course the briefcase from Pulp Fiction, and Mona Lisa's Smile, and the life work of Dali, and the films of David Lynch, and all of surrealist cinema now that I'm thinking about it, the French and Italian surrealist movements, the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper album, Radiohead's Kid A, Pink Floyd's The Wall, and basically all concept albums now that I'm thinking about it, and pretty much all minimalist art, and all abstract art, and sculpture in general, and performance art, and interactive art, and the concept of free will and quantum physics and cosmology and the theory of gravity and probably all branches of philosophy and the books of William S. Burroughs and Dante and Kafka and I guess more. And I guess most are all poetry now that I'm thinking about it, and politics in general, and, you know, of course, The Search for Life and Meaning, and The Usual Suspects, and Memento, and Donnie Darko, and The Big Lebowski, and The End of Henry Fool, and The Fountain, and The Wizard of Oz, and Pan's Labyrinth, and Baraka, and the Koyaanisqatsi trilogy, and the question of why are we here, and what is the purpose of life, and what is the meaning of existence, and is there a God, and are we alone in the universe, and the end of the movie Shane. Yeah, so other than that seemingly endless list of examples, I'm drawing a complete blank here. You win again, Matthew. You claim you have a handle on the truth, but the objective truth here, from my point of view, Matthew, is that you lack basic critical thinking skills. And I know that that sounds mean, but what else am I supposed to think? You make these crazy statements completely ignoring reality. I mean, a non-consensus on or complete understanding of meaning in no way negates the possibility of meaning or the meaning that the pursuit of that meaning generates. You should be worried that this needed to be explained to you. And now on to Howard the Duck. Every one of your points and arguments so far have been demonstrably wrong and fallacious in multiple ways. But this one takes the cake, and then it rapes that cake for a reason beyond imagining.
Hell, I could give 1,001 reasons why Howard the Duck was the most profound movie ever made. Because Howard is a duck. And where do ducks come from? Eggs. And what are eggs a metaphor for? Birth. And what do you need in order to have birth? A mom. And what do we use as a metaphor for Earth? Mother Earth. So Howard the Duck is actually a very profound existential look at how the Earth takes care of us from birth to death, even when we mistreat it.
There are 6 errors here in the Howard the Duck analogy you use. Each one is strong enough to deflate your entire case. Let's go through them one by one, shall we? Number 1. Okay, it's thought experiment time. I want you to imagine you're in a magical room with Stanley Kubrick and, Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg and Jim Jarmusch and Ang Lee and David Lynch and every great director you can think of. So you're in that room, okay? Imagine yourself there. Can you see yourself there? All right. Now I want you to imagine being escorted out by security the minute you mention Howard the fucking Duck. Number 2. Roll the tape.
Hell, I could give 1,001 reasons why Howard the Duck was the most profound movie ever made.
This is not an argument, Matthew. Anyone can give 1,001 reasons why anything. I can give you 1,001 reasons why there are unicorns living on the moon. So fucking what? No one evaluates evidence based on beliefs. They evaluate reasons for those beliefs based on evidence. Your arguments can be applied to anything, and it can be construed to explain everything. And as you should know, but don't, an argument that explains everything explains nothing and can be dismissed out of hand.